All right, we are live. So today, guys, we are bringing back a guest that we've already had on here, and it is Keith Barton, who is a candidate for a congressional candidate, Republican for CD23 here in Texas. He's going against the incumbent, which is Tony Gonzalez, who has been under the fire lately for reasons that we are going to talk about right now. But tonight's guest is not running to blend in, he's running to disrupt. Keith Barton is stepping into one of the largest and politically complex congressional districts in America, Texas CD23. This is a border country, a border district. This is a trade district. This is an energy district. And he says Washington does not get any part of this. He is not talking about slogans. He's talking about thorough view at the border, trade velocity, port to plains expansion, energy dominance, vocational pipelines that feed real industry instead of student debt. He believes the border is not just a crisis, but an economic engine. And he says the people representing this district right now have either missed the opportunity or have wasted it. The race is not small. It's against an incumbent with national backing. It is against a system that protects its own. And it's happening in a district that decides control. Keith Barton says one blueprint, one strategy, one fight. But policy isn't only part of the story. There are tensions in this race. There are questions about leadership. There are things developing even right now as we speak. And tonight, we're not skimming the surface. We're going straight to it. This is Keith Barton, and the conversation starts now. Starts now. Keith.
All right, there we go. We're having
There
technical
we go.
difficulties on both sides, my man.
No, no worries, no worries. How you doing tonight?
I am great, man. I'm so glad to be back on with you, buddy. I really am.
No, we're glad we can have you here back in the Maverick Times podcast. I know that we had you before. We had a great discussion, and bringing you back now, we're gonna talk a little bit more and make it a little bit less professional, but just a discussion of what it means of you representing Texas CD23.
I'm looking forward to it. Absolutely, Isaac. Thank you.
Awesome, Keith. Let's get started for it. Starting in the beginning, if people haven't seen you before or anything, or maybe didn't catch our podcast, or first people are hearing your name for the first time. Who is Keith Barton, and why are you running for Congress?
All right, so I guess we'll just go right to the beginning. I grew up in Alaska on a farm, riding and racing horses, raising livestock. So I like to tell people from West Texas, I know oil and gas, I know hard work. We even cleared our property by hand. So it's just colder with bigger animals up there. Um, then I joined the Marine Corps. That's my big part of me. I was enlisted to officer, so I was a recon Marine, Huey pilot. So I like to say to people that I used to be pretty tough and pretty smart back in the day. And then I became a logistics officer and a foreign advisor to the Afghan National Army. But what really makes me match District 23 is when I became that logistics officer and I started coordinating between 33 units around the country. And then since I got out, I've worked for some massive companies and led some really, really large teams. And so, really, what that makes me is an operator. And you can read all the different kinds of companies that I work for. It's not nearly as important anymore. But The district requires that. And actually, and you're gonna like this, Isaac, is I did some math, because I'm such a nerd. I did some math, and we looked it up. So a congressman, there's some averages out there on what they actually do during the year. For instance, 12% of their time is actually traveling, right?
Mhm.
So when you break this down, most voters actually vote for a congressman or a senator based on 5% of what they actually do, which is the major bills and their ideology.
Yeah.
But what's important to know is that 65% of what they do is operator intensive. And nobody hears that. So we keep sending lawyers and all these other people to Congress when, especially in our district, we need a businessman and or an operator. And that's what the vast majority of the job is that most people don't even realize. So that's why I fit 23. It's all logistical problems, and man, I'm gonna knock some tasks down real fast. Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, what do you think? Okay, you're saying you're going to knock some tasks down. So, hearing that, I think that immediately the incumbent, which is Tony Gonzalez, hasn't gotten some tasks done.
Correct.
How would you criticize, or what do you think the biggest failure is of the current administration there in CD23?
Well, we talked a lot about the border on the last one, so let's talk about something that recently actually just happened, right?
Yeah.
So there was either a drone or a balloon threat, who knows at this point, in El Paso Airport, right? And that got shut
Yes.
down, right?
Hmm.
Well, part of my background, as you know, I flew drones in combat. I was a helicopter pilot, obviously, and I own a drone business now. So Congressman Tony Gonzalez, what does he do? He goes to UTEP days later to try to talk to their drone department. But I've been talking to border control agents, so they have been asking for years, Isaac, for high volume rubber bullets, drone nets, guns, and military grade lasers to shoot them down. And
Hmm.
why that's important, and it's important when you actually understand. Well, if we're going to increase the drone and surveillance usages on the border, the weapons that are and anti-drone tactics that are being developed at some of these colleges would interfere with the drones that we wanted to put out. So he's not listening to the people doing the job and what they actually want, because let's face it, they're almost all veterans, right? And they all
Yeah.
understand this, right? That's what they want. And he goes to UTEP to get, as far as I understand, like signal disruption and things like that. And so if we're flying our own drones, it's just going to mess up our own drones. Like this, it's just not tactically sound. And you can just
Doesn't make
see
sense.
examples of that everywhere. Yeah.
Doesn't make sense at all, right?
No, it does not.
So, it kind of seems that Tony Gonzalez is not doing too much out here, but we'll get to that a little bit later. I
Okay.
know that you are big on ports to planes. Can you explain that just a little bit in simple terms for everybody else to understand?
Sure, it's a corridor it's in production. It's a logistics corridor, mostly around the I-27 corridor. Okay, and the whole goal is to expand logistics moving north, starting in El Paso for sure, is my understanding, but regardless from the ports of entry on the border, right? And then feeding into that should be energy and other natural resources that West Texas gives, and funneling up to the north. So there's a lot of there is some people that are worried about it because it could expand population and homes and whatnot. But we got to think about the big picture here. Governor Abbott's for it. Both of our senators are for it. Everybody's for it, right? And it's about $23 billion short right now to be complete. Tony
That's
was
a lot.
against it, really, and the only thing he asked for was actually 5 million for an overpass for it down there in Eagle Pass, and that's all he's done for it. But when you, if we are going to develop District 23 and you need this logistic corridor, it could mean hundreds of billions of dollars every few years for District 23. I mean, it's if we're going to tap into more farmland, more energy sources, natural resources, we need a logistics lane to move this stuff. It's just how the world works. So I am absolutely, and it's fully integrated into my plan for District 23.
So how would that directly tie to Maverick County? You know, we live in Maverick County. Most of our audience is in Maverick County. How would that benefit Maverick County directly? I know you said that Tony Gonzalez has gotten a couple of million, not too much down here. But how would that economically impact Maverick County?
So there's a positive and a negative to it. So we always got to look at everyone. But any sort of natural resources, or even we could even get into tourism. It's going to speed up travel, and it's going to give a better corridor for large trucks such as fuel trucks, shipping trucks, whatnot. So that's how it benefits. Anytime you put a large highway system in, it increases revenue in the area, and that so it's that simple. What some towns are worried about, and obviously I'm going to have to dig into the details. Some towns are worried about being bypassed because that does happen, right? When you put a major highway network in, some of those businesses don't always get stopped at anymore. So I need to look at that for sure. But in the overall big picture, it's a pretty big thing for District 23.
Absolutely. And I think that Merritt County, um, you know, city included, has done look at it in a different way where they're just, you know, we don't maybe go that. What they don't realize is that the, uh, the
You're
city we
breaking up,
have so
Isaac.
close to the border.
I'm sorry, sir. You're breaking up a little bit on me. Let's see if the internet will catch back up.
Got good.
No, you're. It could be me or it could be you. I'm looking at full signal. Let's see.
Make it right.
If you can hear us, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really sorry about this. We'll we're working on it.
Now, you hear me?
Yeah, I do hear you. I got two pictures of you, but that's all right. There we go.
Mine actually switched. I was on this side. Now you're on this other side over here. But
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. We apologize. So walk us. I know you're real so big, Port Plain guy. You want to develop that, the energy plan. You've been big
Mhm.
on energy. Walk us through your energy plan. Are you focused on oil? Did we just
Well, we're gonna have a lot to cut out on the on the final video because we're freezing here.
There you go.
Yeah.
My apologies. I know you can relate with this. I got some kids. They use the same computer I use. So I just found out my Ethernet cord was not connected and it was running on Wi-Fi. So that's why we
Okay.
had an issue. Okay, the Ethernet's already connected. It for some reason it was a little bit out. Like I said, my kids use this computer too. So my apologies.
We'll
But
be all right.
let's knock this out. Okay. All right. So I think we were stuck on the energy plan, right?
Yes, sir.
So walk us through your energy plan. Are you focused on oil, gas, renewables, both? How does that look like?
Yes. So the first is absolutely oil and gas. So a lot of people forget that there's a lot of small oil companies as well. So they could absolutely benefit from being expanded and helped. It's not just the big boys, especially in West Texas. Okay, and I know District 23 is not fully up in the Permian Basin, but even things that I could do for 23 would help them as well. So we want to continue to pump oil for sure. Technology is getting better. They're able to go deeper. We need to help that. But really, the big thing we need to do first is unlock natural gas. So prices down here in the south aren't nearly as good, but up north they're very good. So I'm going to help, with the permitting process, and the subsidies for them to get the additional equipment, and that starts the vocational training that we were talking about, because and then it's oil company funded, and we get a whole new set of infrastructure out of it, which is great, without putting any more holes in the ground and without disturbing more ground. So that's really where I want to unlock first. I have, since the last time we talked, I've talked a lot to a lot of people across District 23, and there's basically a general consensus, right? Wind farms suck. we we don't want any more of those. New ones at least are going up on mountains and whatnot. The solar, some people still don't like solar. I still do, but I want it put over buildings and over carports. So I want to get regulation that we're not going to take up any more prime land. And then we go into the nuclear. And I don't know how long nuclear is going to take, but nobody's getting it unlocked right now. So I'm going to go after that right away to start that process to get us nuclear. Some of those second and third order effects is actually this should help battle the AI databases, because people are looking for other infrastructure to bring to the area. But if we can give them energy, then less likely of a chance we're getting that. And AI databases are not good for District 23, not only because they're taking up ranching land, but the water issues. So I think my energy plan will certainly help do that battle. And then that goes straight into Port de Plains. That goes into my plan to help Fort Stockton become a logistics hub to bring more product in and finish pushing it north, right? Basically a rail hub. So it all interconnects really for the whole area.
So you're seeing energy developments that tie into border trade and industrial expansion moving forward?
Yeah, it's all interconnected. And if you only try to do one thing at a time, then you're not going to get it connected well enough. So that's the operator mindset. We need to work on a lot of this all at once, and that's fine. But these are major changes that would together benefit the whole area.
So these are things that we haven't heard from a congressman before. I hate to say it, but photo op Tony doesn't bring these kind of solutions in here. It's kind of like, hey, I got grant funds for this person, that person, this person. And I heard in a meeting that we had with some Republican, Maverick County Republicans, is that he just focuses on photo ops and giving out grant money.
True.
And if you don't support him, then that grant money is not there. How would you do things differently moving forward from that tactic that Tony Gonzalez likes to do?
Well, start off with, because I do not want to do this for more than 6 years. There's no incentive for me to want to develop that kind of process that he's doing. There's no need for it. My whole thing is to help District 23 and go. I think Isaac, 26 years of service to the federal government is more than enough. So unlike I know, so yeah, we'll backtrack a little bit. On I think it was February 28th, 2020. Tony signed a pledge that he would sign for term limits. Well, here he is at the end of his third term, and he didn't self regulate his own pledge to what he would agree to. Now, I get it. He didn't say that he was only going to run for 6 years, but come on, man. If you're going to pledge to that, you'd sign off on 6 years. You should probably lead from the front. But I am making that pledge. I only want 6 years because that's how long I think it's going to take to get all this done. So yeah, it's going to sound different than most people because most congressmen, because again, they're 55% of congressmen are lawyers. They're not operators, and that's what I'm trying to do is just be an operator because that's what 23 needs. I don't match any of the other districts well, like District 21 right here in San Antonio on the north side. You know, that's a good congressman out of that district would be a financial guy. But 23, it's straight up operations, and that's what it needs, or we're never going to build it. And then when you talk about giving all this money, like we're $38 trillion in debt. Like the money's there, you just don't know how to use it right. I mean, I'm going to use it right. That's all there is to it. I'm going to follow it further down than anybody has before, because that's going to be my job and my focus is to make sure it goes to the right place.
Now, staying on the topic of Tony moving forward now.
You're breaking up again, my man.
You got me? You can't hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So you can hear me?
I can now. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
So sticking on the topic, current Congressman Tony Gonzalez, you said something about his spending and having the money there. So you think that Tony Gonzalez has not, I guess, measured up or focused where it needs to focus here on CD23? There is a lot of funding that he says he does, right?
Right.
But there's a lot of stuff where only certain people are getting this funding, and not everybody is part of his highlight. I can tell you here in Maverick County, he only regularly visits one newspaper, one media outlet, and then he touts that media outlet, and and it's a vice versa. Feed into me, I'll feed into you type of thing. But he avoids everybody else. I mean, I wouldn't say the Maverick Times is the best out there, but it does make some noise.
Yeah.
Now, what would we expect from you, Keith Barton, if you were to be the next congressman?
Alrighty, man. My promise to you, my man. We're gonna do 1 to 2 of these a year, and if a major event comes up, we'll do a shorter session and talk about that too, if it has to do with Maverick County. So absolutely, I'm gonna be available. And here's the thing: I want, as my popularity builds, as your popularity builds, and the voters get on here and they can ask me live questions, and that's the point. I want them to have a direct connection to me if they want to. And I'm not afraid of it. I'm not going to set up a telephone conference call and call it a town hall and then screen all my questions, man. Like, no. If you can't, if you're not willing to put your feet to the fire from a random question, then what are you doing? To go back to your other point, why does he do that? It's really simple answer, because you have to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you don't know where you're going to put all the money, and you're just putting money where you think it'll make people happy. And that's not how it works. And yeah, let's face it. Like, there's going to be some people that aren't happy where I'm going to put some of this money, but I will get to them because it's going to fix the root cause problems, and their life's going to get better anyway without me even having to hand them money. And that's the point. That's how you make the dollar go further, because we're just going to treat it like District 23 like a business, and we are all business partners. That's my plan.
No, yeah, and I think that's a little bit refreshing because, like I said, Maverick County, I can tell you that Maverick County does not hear at all from Tony. At all from Tony. He'll go and he'll visit with the mayor of the city of Eagle Pass, sit down with him, make a video, post his, hey, I got this much grant money for them, but totally bypass the other entity in the room, which is Maverick County. Now, and I can go ahead and say this. I work as a grant administrator for Maverick County, so that's why I know exactly that Tony Gonzalez doesn't visit us at all. And who used to reach out to us before was one of his staff members,
Hmm.
Regina Avalos, who is no longer here with us.
No, she's not.
She previously would reach out to us, tell us about the allocation grant that Tony Gonzalez had. We've applied several times for it. We weren't successful. But now there's a tragedy that does follow her name. She's from Uvalde. We recently saw a article in the San Antonio Express newspaper
Yep,
that
just came
claims
out tonight.
that Tony Gonzalez had an affair and a relationship, something going on with Miss Regina Santos Avalos. Uh, is there anything that you'd like to comment on that before we bring on any questioning?
Sure. I man, to her husband and to her child, you have my deepest sympathy. You are now drug into this drama, and you had a great loss within your family. And I don't know all the details, but regardless, you lost your partner. And man, I'm here for you. You can reach out to me even if you need to, man. Your family's been hit hard, and I feel for you. I do. I've read that article, and it is tragic. And if what's in it's true, it's unprofessional, and frankly, I think it's against the house rules as well. So, hey, here's another promise, Sixers 23. You don't have to worry about me breaking any of those rules, okay? I am very happy with my family and my spouse. There's none of that's gonna be happening. Yeah, Isaac, it's just tragic, man, and I hope somebody steps up and does something about it. And frankly, it's time for the man to step aside. Just back off, right, and let the people decide between Brandon and I, and we'll go forward. Yeah, no, I think this is the end of the road for you. So I would appreciate Tony, Congressman. It's time to step back, my man. It is.
No, we briefly kind of skimmed the article, and it wasn't anything to write home about, right?
Mm-mm.
Nothing to be proud of. It's a difficult situation for all, and I think that it shows, at least from the representative Tony Gonzalez, because I mean, we look up to congressmen. Those are supposed to be the people that we want to be. We strive to be. We elect him to.
Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, he dropped off. So just give it a second. In the final, we'll get all these bad spots cut out for you, so you guys can watch it. Just give us a second.
We back on.
Yes, you are. I stay connected.
Man, this is terrible internet, Keith. I
Yeah.
apologize.
I just after you got off, I told the I told the audience that we'll cut all these bad parts out. They can watch the shorter version.
No. Yeah, and that's on my side, right? I'll do the editing. No problem with that. I just don't know what's going on with my internet today, man. It normally isn't like this, and that's it. I actually pay Spectrum. The top service they have is for a whole gigabyte of internet, right? You would
Yeah.
think you don't have to worry about getting these stoppages or anything, but and that's with it connected straight to the damn modem. Man, I apologize. That I
How many
apologize to
Xboxes and
everybody.
PlayStations you got going on right now? Maybe that's it.
You know, actually, my boy is listening and playing PlayStation in the living room as we speak, so that might be it. Maybe he needs to
Yeah,
cut
man.
off the PlayStation, but I don't think he can hear me with his headphones on right now. Anyways, I apologize for that, Keith. But yeah, I mean, what I was saying is that, we look up to congressmen, we do, and we vote for these people. We wait, every 2 years that we vote for our congressmen, and we're voting for somebody that we want to carry our voice forward, push our voice, have us small people our voice heard in the Congress. That's something that I know I don't take lightly, and there's many in Everett County that do not take that lightly either. But we do have a congressman that not only continues to ignore us as a county, but he is not doing what is right. And to me, I have kids, I have a family, I have a wife, and for him to be parading around the way he is, that's very unbecoming of a congressman, especially when we strive to. And I think that kind of puts everything into perspective where what are we doing voting for this guy?
Yeah. So I guess this is a good time for me to make another promise. Like, ladies and gentlemen, I know the difference between being a leader and being a boss, and I'm gonna be a leader. It's the leadership mindset for me is a coaching mindset. It's a participation mindset. We have a lot of brain power within the district, and we're going to use it, and we're going to figure some things out. And I'm going to set the example. Isaac, and actually, I guess since we're just making promises, I want to make another promise and a warning. I guess district. Here's my warning to District 23 leadership. GOPs, mayors, guys, when I come to visit you, expect that I'm also going to want you to set up something for me to talk to voters at the same time. Okay? Give you like an hour, give me an hour with some voters, and more at that point, it's incumbents. It's not even voters, right? It's the people of District 23. And that's what I want you all to do if you elect me is I'm not just going to come talk to you. I want to go talk to the people, and I want your help setting that up every time I come because I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to come see you all. And I want people to come see me and know me personally because I'm working for them, man. I'm working to improve all our lives and then go home when I'm done.
How about Maverick County? Will you come see Maverick County,
I
not just
will
to see the
absolutely.
legal pass?
It's going to be a lot easier when I got that, government card charge card to be traveling. Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, absolutely. If this goes the way we hope that it goes, open invitation. I know the county judge here in Maverick County has been waiting for Tony Gonzalez to give a call. And
Yeah.
there was communication unfortunately, with Miss Regina that's no longer here with us. But after that happened, communication just absolutely died.
Right.
And I don't remember the last time I saw Tony Gonzalez reach out to our county judge, and it's disappointing because the city is well off. I mean, I can say that. I worked with the city for 15 years. They're well off. They're headed in a good direction, good leadership, a good funding behind it. Now, the county is a different story.
Right.
We're trying to reinforce so many different things that we're doing down there. Again, one of the reasons I was hired 2 years ago was to bring in and secure grant funding the way I did with the city of Eagle Pass. And
Yeah.
thank God we're doing what we have to be doing out there. But I think that what is lacking, predominantly the grants that we get, I say 85% of them are state grants.
Yeah, I'm not for sure, but it's not enough. That's for sure.
Well, what I'm saying is that it's not enough federal funds that are going directly into Maverick County.
Yeah.
And I think that changing our congressman, it's going to change the whole dynamic for that and offer a different opportunity that we don't have right now. I mean, there's a lot of colonias in the county. Now we have the Puerto Verde coming up in Maverick County as well, with the possibly the third international bridge coming in with a rail system. And that's
Mhm.
something that needs to get viewed and seen by federal officials, and maybe some more assistance can be opened up for Maverick County.
Correct. And one of the best ways is for me to manage the whole budget of the whole district and make sure I'm earning savings in certain places so I can reallocate. Right? There's nothing stopping me from reallocating funds if we can come under budget on something. Right? What am I going to do? Give that back? No, we got plenty of problems in District 23 without getting enough funds from the federal government. So we're going to use those because if these plans come through and work, it's not just going to benefit District 23, it's going to benefit Texas, which then benefits the country. So it's well worth it, especially with the amount of money we don't get, for sure. There are a couple areas where I'm going to go immediately asking for funds, and they're the basic necessities, man. One of it is law enforcement. We got to build law enforcement over the entire district. I was just in Del Rio, and I found out that the constables are driving their own personal vehicles.
Wow.
Right. Like, dude, like, no. That's, I mean, there's liability there. There's all sorts of things, right? The
Yeah.
county could get sued, and no. And then the other thing I'm going to go after, one of the other things I'm going to go after immediately money for is the Kazivac network across District 23. That is underfunded, and Fort Worth, Dallas tries to tap into that, and I'm going to fight it because I have that experience being a helicopter pilot and being combat lifesaver trained. We need in District 23 more cost per person on that kind of stuff because of distance, right? I mean, the average helicopter, you're going to get about 200 nautical miles, which means we have to have a web. It's literally a web of ways to evac somebody back to a trauma one care center. And that's really important. And it's really important, even more important the more industry we build, right? The more energy, I mean.
Absolutely.
Right, because accidents are going to happen, and so and that's I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but that's also where we're going to need a lot of OSHA support. We really are, and ANSI. For you guys out there, if you don't know, those are the two big safety organizations that really run us, and we're going to need their support if we're going to build up this energy plan a lot, and we're going to need them to work with us, not just be out there trying to correct us all the time. It needs to be a partnership, and that way we can build this infrastructure and this energy plan faster while being safe at the same time and not having delays. And I think Isaac, that kind of goes back to my operator mindset, right? That's the kind of things, and I'm always thinking, okay, I want to do this in the district, but how can I do that as a congressman? Well, that's a perfect example, right? A networking organizations together to fulfill this plan. So, thanks for letting me go off on a tangent.
No, yeah, absolutely. Look, I can totally feel the I worked in Del Rio actually for about a year as their grant writer for the city of Del Rio. So I'm familiar with their needs, not so much in the county, Valverde, right? But in the
Mhm.
city of Del Rio. So we also have a similar problem with our constables where we, lack funds as a county to get them the vehicles that they need. Now, what we
Correct.
did is we tapped into the DPS transfer program, and we
Hmm.
were able to secure three vehicles. Of course, we had to pay for them. I think it was about 1,500 a piece, but it's much more palatable than your 50, 60,000 for these SUVs. But
Correct.
it's a thing where constables don't really make money to where they can be able to purchase these types of things. And I can probably guess that throughout CD23, constable offices are having this similar type of situation where they're not able to get the necessary equipment. And I mean, I'll tell you this from experience with our constables. These guys respond to any emergencies that we have out here in the county.
Mm-hmm.
If the city has an emergency, they respond as well. When we had our border crisis, that finally it's trickling a little bit down, they had to deal with the masses and masses of people coming over from the border.
Right.
So I don't necessarily buy the whole thing where our constables are not the same as sheriffs when they're still responding to the exact same law enforcement issues the sheriff's office has. And they
Yep.
are automatically underfunded, as you're saying. I don't want to say I'm glad, but it's a thing where it's happening everywhere. All the constables' office are struggling, and I'm glad
Yes.
you brought that up, and I'm glad that you're focused on improving the situation and the problems rather than ignoring it as we have gotten from Congressman Tony Gonzalez.
But you want to know how I found out about it, Isaac?
What's that? Is that a good one?
Yeah, because I've been talking to the people, and I was talking to a constable, and he brought it up to me, and I'm like, wow, okay, that fits right in with other things I'm trying to do, and that is not a good situation. So, yeah, I am finding these things out and integrating them into my plan because I'm talking to people, and that's why I'm never gonna stop because I can't be everywhere at once. I don't want to be stuck in DC half the year anyway, right? And that's why I'm gonna I better have a good chief of staff in San Antonio because that person's gonna be traveling all the time too. Um, to kind of find that out. I will tell you this: I don't have a plan for it yet, but I want to look into it. And this is where I'm struggling. I'm thinking my logistics mindset, but I don't know how the infrastructure is actually. But I do want to look into a district wide law enforcement and safety services logistics train. Maybe if we can standardize, and I'm just spitballing here, if we can standardize equipment across the district, we can save money, right? And get more. So I'm gonna. It's not a finalized plan yet because I don't know enough, but that's how my mind's working. I think all of our sheriffs should have the same equipment in their vehicles. I think all the police officers, right, because they're a little bit slightly different mission, they should probably have the same equipment too. All the constables should have the same kind of equipment. And when you're a logistics guy, when you're basically buying in bulk, well, that saves the dinero, man. Every time it saves the dinero instead of these county judges and council people working to try to figure this all out on themselves. Maybe we can do it together. So again, just spitballing, but I think that would be a good thing for all of us.
No, absolutely. I think that here in Texas, obviously, we've had the SB 22 that has helped quite a bit more on the sheriff's side than the constable side. Like I said, in our community, the constables are the ones that are responding alongside sheriffs, and we need these people protected, and we need them to have everything in their vehicles to carry out any type of arrest that they need. Any call they get, they should be able to handle. And I'll tell you, we have
Right.
constables here in Maverick County. They're proactive. They reach out to me. Hey, we need a grant for this. Hey, I found a grant for this. Can you help us apply? And that's the type of thing that I enjoy because they want to stay a step ahead of the game, so to speak.
Yep.
I know in Del Rio, they share similar landscape that we do.
Of course.
That are not covered by urban, should I say, urban areas where they need certain type of terrain vehicles to be able to patrol, go up and down the border, and secure our safety. Because not only do we have threats coming from within our community or within our country, but we have the border right next to us where that's a whole nother threat that maybe doesn't get visualized as much as we would like, right?
Right. I would want them to all have, especially the constables, to either have a pickup or an SUV, depending on their mission set. That's 4-wheel drive. That's just the basic. Like most of them aren't even going to need like big trucks, right? We can get away with medium-sized trucks for this, like smaller than 1500s, right? But as long as it's 4-wheel drive, and you got that pickup bed, and you can go do. Because here's the last thing we need. Also, District 23 is not set up for another flood. It's not. We don't know where it could happen. We don't know where that natural disaster can happen. We need to get this this entire safety system built up for the next. So I recently got asked about that, and that's exactly where my mind went. We had a debate up in Alpine, and they asked me a question: "What are you going to do if this happens?" And I kind of misheard, and so I immediately went into, "Well, I need to build this up. Build this up," because my mindset isn't, "Well, when this happens, what am I going to do?" My mindset is, let's prepare before this happens so we are ready for it, you know. And that's where I want to go. And maybe the state house reps are not going to like me either, because I'm going to be calling them a lot too. We're going to be one big team on this, and figure all these kind of issues out together. But I think
You
that's
know,
what's
and
needed.
I think that that is what is lacking right now with congressmen and our state rep. We do have a state rep. He's a Democrat, but he is from Maverick County, Eagle Pass. So I kind of lean towards Republican conservative myself, but I also can recognize when somebody is doing something for their community. And Representative Ed Morales has done a lot for us, especially with the city of Eagle Pass. We recently had a big loss of funding coming because of the Shelby Park incident where the military took over the area. There
Hmm.
was a big concert that was going to be done, $2 million lost, this, that, or the other. He lobbied the state legislature. We ended up getting at least $1 million out of there to help them, kind of recoup some of the funding back. So I think that State Rep Eddie Morales, whether it's Democrat or Republican, is willing to work with anybody that is wanting to work. And, he looks strong coming out again. We don't know with the election that's going to happen. Anything can happen. But would you be willing to work with him if he wins? If you win, does that make a difference to you?
No, because everything I'm going after, it doesn't matter what your political ideology is. It's you need it too. So no, that's exactly what I'm going to get the entire district to focus on is things that we all need, not the ideologies from DC. We're talking about safety, water, energy, economic growth, jobs, and we're gonna do it smartly like a business. So it doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. You can get on board, and we're gonna fix some things together. I mean, I get it, and the voters. So I'm not gonna placate um, to the left or right wing extreme ideologies, because my focus is basically on your needs, man, and that crosses all boundaries.
Some of the things that Tony
Oh, you're breaking up bad, man.
how about now?
Yep, that's good.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all
One of
right.
the things that I was bringing up is Tony Gonzalez's voting record.
Mm-hmm.
So he's known as one of the Republicans that chooses to cross the aisle and vote with the Democrats. I know you said you're willing to work with the Democratic Party, especially if it's a state counterpart. But how do you feel about voting in a big scale, congressional votes, and walking down that aisle voting for the Democratic side as Tony Gonzalez has done in the past?
Yeah, so what you're gonna see from me, I get exactly where you're going. What you're gonna see from me is anything I do nationally is still gonna be like for my own bills that I have to push forward. That's still gonna be bipartisan. It's gonna be the same mindset, like the basics of everything we need. There should be no pushback for what I'm asking for from either side, right? Because it's gonna be based on data and logic and basic needs of the district. When it comes to other major bills, that are brought up that I need to vote on, I'm a constitutional guy. All right. I First Amendment. Even if I don't agree with how somebody's behaving, I'm going to defend it. 2A. I'm a big 2A guy, right? The Fourth Amendment, 10th Amendment, all those are really big, especially the 10th Amendment right now, right? State rights. So I'm going to follow the Constitution and my conservative mindset on all those major bills. I just am, because that's how I think and how I believe. So, but I'm not going to be one of those that's pushing those types of bills. I'm just going to be there voting on it. And we lost Mr. Isaac again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear me while we're still waiting for Isaac, I'll be attached to this video. You guys can send me messages. You can email me at campaign at Barton for Texas23.com. I'll answer. I'll finish answering any questions since we didn't get to them on this podcast. Just hit me up, ladies and gentlemen, and I will certainly be there for you.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
all right. My apologies. Look, I had my wife looking into this in the
Uh,
area. I think that might be the reason why we're having so much trouble, man. I apologize for that.
you're all right. You're all right, man.
Yeah,
I told the voters while I told the people listening while you were off how they can contact me to answer any of the questions that they might have sent in on your chat or whatnot, and I'll answer them directly.
yeah,
So
that's perfect. You know what? I apologize for this. I think we need to bring you on another day. Maybe in a couple of days, maybe the end of the week or beginning of next week. We
yep, next.
can make up for this because this is. I'm sorry, man. And I had my wife investigating this. Is the first time we logged off. I told her to call Spectrum and get on their asses for all the money we pay. But it's
Yeah,
not our internet here locally. It's not the best.
you're fine, man. I leave for El Paso on Thursday, and I'll be back Sunday night. So yeah, next week would work. But I have a lot of oh man, I have like 12 something events in 2.5 days in El Paso, so I'll be pretty busy the next few days. But I'll be back. That's not a problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we're having these issues. We'll get this cut out and sent to you, and we'll do it again next week. Hey, I appreciate it, everyone. Thank you for listening to us and the issues coming through. Talk to you later.